closer. I've got something to share with you. Hello. My name's Sam and welcome to my channel, So Let's Sparkle with Sam. So it is Saturday morning. I am wearing my sunshiny till in the button Agnes that I made for the So Yellow for Endo challenge, which I absolutely love, in this beautiful cotton jersey. And I have got my Heyday Waves and Wild Heyday dungarees on, which I bought in, which I've made in this lovely stripy denim, which I cannot remember where I got, but it is absolutely lovely. So it's Saturday morning. I'm here in Leamington. The sun is shining. And yeah, so come a little closer. I've got something to share with you. So when I went to the Stitch Festival last week, I don't know when you'll see this video, but I did go to the Stitch Festival and I had the absolute pleasure of meeting the lovely Rachel Stitched Up. So I had kind of been chatting online with Tamlin for a little while, and I kind of chatted to Roan from time to time, but I never really had much of a chat with Rachel. And she was left on her own for a little bit because obviously the lovely ladies went and did their catwalk thing, and that definitely wasn't Rachel's thing. So yeah, so she asked, "Oh, can I sit with you?" And I was like, my absolute pleasure. So I managed to have a little chat with her, and I have to say, she's rather delightful. Really lovely lady. And I found out that, yeah, I had, had lots of things in common. So it was really nice to chat to her. And I found out equally that we both had a love for this new pattern. So this new Emporia Patterns pattern, the Roan trousers. And we both bought it on the day of the show. So we were like, let's collaborate. So that's what we're doing. So I'm very excited. I get excited about new makes, and I'm very excited about this. So when I was at the Stitch Festival, I did actually buy the fabric. I bought the pattern for the Roan trousers. And the Roan trousers, it says the Roan is a barreled leg trouser pattern with loose and comfy fit for a cool and casual feel. Now, when I was a kid, this look was called grungy, and I quite like a grungy look. They have medium rise. I'm a little bit worried about that because I like a high rise, but you have to try new things. Deep cutaway front pocket, which I am very excited about. A classic V back yoke, and I do like a V yoke. I particularly like it in jeans. An angled 5 side pockets at the rear, top stitching detail on the seams, and a fly zip. So it kind of adds that jean style detail without being jeans. Now I have a lot of casual trousers that I tend to wear for dog walking actually, that have the zip fly but are a more casual fabric, and I live in them. So I thought this would be fantastic. Now it says the Roan is an intermediate pattern, and I can see that straight away. It's an intermediate pattern. There's a zip fly, there's lots of top stitching, there's quite a few pattern pieces. I'll let you know how I get on. So I bought the fabric while I was there, and it is this gorgeous kind of slubby linen in this gorgeous grungy green. I love a bit of grungy green. And yeah, so I'm going to make them, and I'm very excited. So I've had a good look at the pattern, and although I'm kind of between sizes, so my hips put me at an 8 and my waist put me at a 10 or a 12, because it gives you like the pre measurements before you put the elastic in. So I've decided to go for a 10 because, if in doubt, pop in the middle. That's my saying. So I'm going to go for a 10. I'm going to make it in this lovely linen. I'm not going to do a toile. I know, I'm just going to live dangerously. The fabric is gorgeous, but it wasn't particularly expensive. I only needed 2 meters. it was £15 a metre, so 30 quid for a pair of trousers is not too shabby. So if it doesn't work, I'm not going to get too upset about it. And I do think you should just sew with the good fabric. Sometimes using a toiling fabric doesn't always work if it's not the right type of fabric for the job. So I'm just going to give it a go and I'm going to get started. So I have a really lovely morning this morning because I'm going to join the lovely Hayley Jane at one of her Thready Set Go sewing socials, and I'm going to make a start on it there. So hopefully I will come back in a couple of hours and let you know what I have done. So I have already cut out my size. I've cut out the size 10. I've not even traced it. I've cut it straight out, put it straight on. When I cut out my pieces, I always just pin or clip my pieces to the fabric, and then I lay it all out, because that's how I like to kind of start my sewing practice, as it were, with it all kind of there. And then also if I've got everything out, if I have missed a notch or hadn't seen a notch or hadn't, when I'm reading through the instructions, something that I've missed, I've got it all here ready, and I find that easier. So yeah, I will come back in a little bit and let you know how I got on. Travelling sore. Hello again. I have had the loveliest of mornings. So I've just had 2 hours on the Ready Thready Set Go sewing social on Saturday morning. They do Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, Wednesday evenings with Sew Hayley Jane, and it's free if you are a box subscriber. So I am. So I've had a lovely morning. I have done really well, even if I do say so myself. So if I go back to the instructions, I am on this one. I'm on instruction 11. Pin the back pockets to the back leg using the pocket markings as a guide. Stitch as close as you can to the edge. So I thought before I do stitch mine, I would just show you, if it's any interest to you, how I mark my pockets. So I get my pattern piece, and then I put a pin, and I use my big thick pins through the markings, and then I use a dressmaking pencil to mark through the holes, and then that way it gives you really good markings to then pop your pockets in the right place. And on this pocket I decided to put a little label on because I like this, make waves. So I have, before I sew it on, I have used a satin stitch, which is a very close together zigzag stitch, to put on that label. So the back legs have got the back yoke pieces on, so I've got 2 of the back leg pieces, and then the front leg pieces are also both finished with these lovely pockets and the top stitching. I've used exactly the same thread, a really good match, so you can't really see the top stitching. If I made these out of a denim, I'd probably use a contrasting top stitching because I actually really like the top stitching effect. Now, I didn't have any of exactly the same etch from Overlocker, but I'm not too bothered. It's green, it's fine, it's inside, I think it looks fine. It's in the hue of the same colour, she says. So instructions so far have been really, really good, a really enjoyable sew. Yeah, and I feel like I'm about halfway through. So obviously I've still got the fly to do, so that is a little bit worrying. And I need to make a decision about my fly because I have got 2 zip options. Now I can't actually, so I've got this one, which is the metal zip, but I've also got I've also got an ordinary zip which has got the nylon, and I don't know what will look better, so I think I'm gonna have a little think about which one I'm gonna put in, because I hadn't realized that I'd got both. So yeah, so I'm gonna have a little think. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go and have a little bit of lunch with Mr. Sparkles, have a little sit down and kind of get my head around everything. And then I'm gonna join another sewing social. I'm a sewing virtual butterfly. I'm gonna go to another sewing social this afternoon, which is the virtual sewing rooms. And I believe that D is hosting, no, B is hosting, D and B. Yeah, I think B is hosting this afternoon, so I'm going to go and join them, and hopefully I'll get my Roans sewn up today. So you'll see me in a little bit. I am a clot, I am a clot, I am a clot. So, I have done my trousers. I have done the fly. Pretty cool, if you ask me. I think that's looking rather nice. I have, sorry, there's a bit of spare interfacing. I have pinned the waistband on, but this is where the clot comes in. So on the pattern piece here, it says Roan trousers, waistband, cut 2 on the fold. How many did I cut? And this one says interfacing, and I cut it out of the fabric. So if I had not cut this one, I would have had enough to cut 2 of these. But as it is, I've literally just got scraps left, and I've not got enough to cut the inside of the waistband. All is not lost, because it's the inside of the waistband, so no one's going to see it. So I've got some of this, which is exactly the same weight linen, exactly the same, but it's grey, and I'm going to put that inside the waistband. And do you know what? On really expensive trousers that Mr. Sparkles have got, they have a different colour on the inside of the waistband. So I might just pretend I've done it on, you know, intentionally. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. So it's Saturday afternoon, and seeing as that I've just made this mistake, what I think I might do is I might finish for the day. I might stop now, give myself a little break. I've literally, all I've got to do now is put the waistband on and the buttons and the finishings. So it's not going to take me too long. I think I might say, right, you're making silly mistakes. Enough is enough. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so I took a little break yesterday because it was Mother's Day. So Monday morning, good time to kind of carry on with my trousers. So I just wanted to show you how I've got on. So what I've done is, as you can see, I've put the other side of the waistband on, and I did use this grey linen because I didn't have any of the green linen left. But what I've done is I actually had a look inside a pair of Mr. Sparkle's trousers, who are Mrs. But in his very posh trousers, he has these little bands, and I thought, well, that's quite a good idea. And because I'm using contrasting fabric, I thought, well, rather than just use a random piece, let's make a feature of it. So I'm going to pop in a little video now of me making the bias binding on my Simplicity bias binder maker, which is in the box behind there, just in case that's of interest to you, of how I use the machine. And basically I just satin stitched it in, and it has actually given the waistband a nice bit of kind of, stability. It feels much more robust now. And because they're elasticated, they're going to get pulled a lot. So I think that that's kind of finished them quite nicely. So I've tried them on, and they do actually fit perfectly. I was a bit worried that they were going to be a little bit snug, but they're snug, but the good side of snug, not tight. So I think that they're absolutely great. So I'll just do the fly up so you can kind of see how they sit, and you can see I've kind of hidden that zip quite nicely. When I put them on, occasionally you can get a little flash of silver, but I think that's just because I have a tummy, so so that's fine. So when I put the hook and eye on, I'm going to put a hook and eye. I was going to put a button on, but I think I'm going to use a hook and eye because I think that will hold it more securely. I'm going to just make sure the hook and eye is ever so slightly over so I don't get that peeking out of there. And then the last thing I've got to do is literally just sew down these belt belt loops, but they are flaps, aren't they? Sew those down and then hem the bottoms, and yeah, and then I'm done. So now I am a lot shorter than Rachel, Stitch Up Rachel, by quite a few inches. I've put this on, and actually it says in the instructions to fold them up by 5 centimetres and then another 5 centimetres. But if I do that, they will actually be too short for me. So I'm going to do them 3 centimetres and 3 centimetres, because what they ask you to do is they ask you to leave this bit unfinished, and then that is your hem. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish that hem a little bit more and then fold them and fold them. So so I am now going to text Rachel from Stitch Up and tell her that she must remember that she's going to have to add some length, because I think that these are drafted for 5'5", 5'6", and I'm like 5'3", 5'4". So for her, what is she, 5'10", something like that, she's going to need to add some inches. So yeah, so we're nearly on the home straight. So I'm hopefully going to get these finished today, and then I'll come back and show you with them on. So I've cut my strips into 2-inch strips because I'm going to use the 1-inch bias tape kind of thingamajig. So this has got to be cut in double this one. So if this says 1 inch, that needs to be 2 inch. If that says 1/2 inch, that needs to be 1 inch. And then basically you sew it all together and wind it on the little windy thing. And then you pop it all through here. This plate just comes off. If you do have problems getting it through here, what I suggest that you use is a nice long pin just to help you push it through. And then you turn it on, you set it to whatever fabric. I've got cotton in mine. And then once the light comes on, you just press the run button and it starts coming through like magic. So, and then it'll just wind its way through and come through this end. Now, ever so occasionally, if on a join, you might need, it might slow down a bit, but you'll find that it just kind of sorts itself out and comes through. So there you go, that's how I make my bias binding. So they are all by the shouting finished. I just need to do, I've turned them up once, I just need to do the hem, and by and large I'm pretty happy with them. So I've got a little Make Waves label on my pocket, and then on the belt loop it says Be Bold, and I love the way that the back panel kind of fits nicely kind of around my waist, and it kind of, I think that extra bit of bias binding has given it a bit of support there, and it kind of holds me in nicely. I can just see the silver of the zip. I've put the hook and bar on there, and what I think I need to do is just move it over a little bit. So once I've done that, I think I'll be absolutely fine. I just need to move it over. I popped it on where I thought it should be, but I think I just need to move it over a bit. But yeah, I think I love the shape. I did think when I was making them that when I made the next pair I'd make them a size up, but I don't think I need to. I think I just need to put the zip ever so slightly further. I did put it exactly where it said, 1 centimetre, but I think it needs to be 1.5 centimetres across, so that when that goes across there, that just sits a bit nicer. And again, I don't think it's the pattern, I think it's me. I've got a bit more of a rotund tummy having 3 children and being a menopausal woman, and I think it just needs to go across a little bit. But that's a very small thing, but yeah, I really like them. I really like them. So I have finished the Roan trousers, and if you watch till the end you will see a little slideshow of me in my garden with them on, and I've styled them up with my Orla top from the dressmaker's closet, and I hope you agree the colours I think go together and they look fantastic. And if you wait till the very end you'll see our beautiful chocolate Labrador doing a twirl with me while I'm in my Roan trousers. So yeah, this has really been a beautiful collaboration. It's been a lovely pattern. I've really enjoyed it. I can't wait to choose some fabrics to make my next pair. And yeah, don't forget to go and check out Rachel Stitched Up and her pair of beautiful trousers. I have had a little sneaky peek. Now we have chosen very similar colourways, and yeah, and hers look beautiful too. So go and check hers out, but don't forget to have a little look at my montage at the end so you can see what the trousers look like. So yes, I would definitely make the pattern again. Yes, I would definitely collaborate with Rachel again. And yes, I'm definitely going to be making more. So if you would like to try the pattern for yourself, I'm going to link it down below so you can have a look. Don't forget to sparkle. I'll see you really soon. Bye for now.